Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another review on RSG with your boy Ranger J 1999. And that hunk of burning love over there is Cashmere, the Big K. What's going on, Big K?
That's all I gotta say.
Words. Use your
No, no,
words. Use your
no,
big boy words.
not gonna happen.
And we're here to review Bad Batch Season 2, the season finale two-parter 15 and 16. If you want to give the
This,
names of the
yeah, the
episodes.
Summit and Plan 99.
Yes, and there was some great stuff in here, in my opinion, um, that I really loved. But I'm getting the sense from Big K over there that he thought it was not good,
So I'm gonna pull back the curtains a little bit. So what I normally do,
like the Muppets.
yes,
Should I
yes,
go get my Kermit and have him just sit here and like, Cosby, you're stupid.
probably
No,
that might
I'm not gonna
happen.
do that. Get out of
So
here.
I'll get up in the morning before work
Get
and I
up in the
watch
morning.
the episodes
Mhm.
like a fan. All I'm doing is just watching them, trying to enjoy them. Then before I'll take like my lunch break and I'll watch them again and I'll take notes. Here's my notes.
I can't see.
You
You can't read
won't be
it.
able to see them. It's just
Yeah, yeah.
basically the titles because I was so pissed off at these episodes. This
Interesting.
was
We're
last
the first time that we are going to be at different ends on this, man. This is fantastic. I love it. Okay, what did you not like? And just for both up, let's just talk about both
yeah,
episodes.
yeah. They're one big
It's
episode.
one big episode,
Yeah.
and so what did you not like?
All right. We've been saying for the last 3 weeks how much they're building and building and building, and this was it. I mean, we knew Omega was going to get eventually going to get caught, kidnapped, whatever you want to call it, captured, and that's the big series finale. Is she's captured? That's it. That should have been episode 15. She's captured, and episode 16 is where we're saving her. Crosshair is, getting involved. Is he back with the team? Is he going to sacrifice himself? What is he going to do? No, this is just. There was a great part, a very sad part,
Yeah, I
which
mean,
we'll go over. We'll go over in a second. But I just like,
I disagree with you 1,000% because what these two episodes did for me, and that's okay. I mean, it's just this is objective,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it's just
yeah.
my opinion. I'm not saying that Cash is wrong. That's just how he feels about it. But I think just like the great saying goes, I think we have awakened a sleeping giant and filled filled him with great fury. Because at the end of that episode, the look on Hunter's face when he says what he says, I'm like, some people are going to
Mhm.
die. I mean, they are going to
Yes,
die. And
and
I'm
I
like,
want to
I'm
see
for it.
them die.
Well, there was a
Not
lot of death in this episode already, man. Let's
yeah.
not, I mean, this episode was these two episodes were ruthless. They didn't hold anything back. The Bad
Mhm.
Batch, man, they were killing
Yep.
everybody. Dude, it was amazing. I have never seen this is what I wanted the entire season, the kind of action that we saw. Because you would see certain things and stuff, but there were so many nuggets in this thing that were so good and placed that just again like episode 7 and 8, those little tie-ins that they did, like let's talk about it, right? So they kind of start from the episode, they're recapping a little bit about Crosshair. They're gonna go,
Yeah.
they know about the summit, right? That's where they're headed, and that's where they're gonna go. There's a great scene on what's the name of the planet? Fuba
Pabu,
Abu, thank you.
Puba, whatever.
Yeah. And I knew something was going down because and I thought it was a fantastic moment with Fee and Tech, right?
Yeah.
Tech just being the way he does feel emotion. He doesn't know how to, he's the guy,
Hmm.
that has, Asperger's or something because he's so smart and he's so brilliant
Yeah.
and he feels things, but he doesn't know how to express it, or he's
Mhm.
not very social
Yeah, he's
with
got like a social disorder,
yeah, he just doesn't get it. He
anxiety or
feels, he
something like that.
does feel, right? We
Yeah.
saw that in
Oh
previous
yeah.
episodes, and I love what they did with Tech this season because they really show you the arc of him growing and learning, and that he's as smart and as intelligent and as tactical and brilliant as he is. The small social graces are something
Hmm.
that eluded him, but he was developing those, and I like the kind of subtle thing that they were saying. Fever's really into him,
Yeah.
calling him Brown Eyes, and
Yeah.
it was such a poetic moment that because of what happens in these two episodes, that about him saying, her telling him about saying goodbye and stuff like that, and
Mhm.
and he's just not understanding.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he did, but he didn't know how to express it.
Yeah.
You weren't sure, but he was kind of looking around like, I know I should have said something there. I'm not quite sure what I'm supposed to do. I feel something, but I don't know what it is, you
Yeah.
know?
There's something in my pants growing. What is that? But
Yeah.
which would have been in that you're a perfect point. Just one more line of like him kind of realizing and turning around and be like, you know what, Fee? I can't wait to see you again, or something. Just something
But
like
that wouldn't have
something.
been, but see
I'll
that,
see
but
you. We'll see you soon.
I didn't want him to do that. I like the Tech. He did look back, right? And he looked, and
Yeah.
I think he was still processing it. And I
Mm-hmm.
love that because that's who Tech is, right? At
Yes.
that's Tech moment, where he's just like comprehension. I'll get back
Mm-hmm.
to this because he thinks he's coming back, and I totally was
Yeah.
like with him. I'm like, but that was a cue for me that something bad was going to happen. It's just if you've watched enough shows in your life, you kind of see
Yeah.
the foreshadowing. And um, you know, let's talk about the summit for a second because man, was there some nuggets dropped in this thing, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Krennic was there, dude, baby. Stardust was
Talking
talked
about
about. I'm
Stardust.
like, let's go. They are having the summit on this planet. I don't really care what the name of the planet is. Um, but with Krennic and Tarkin, and then Hemlock. Yeah,
Hemlock.
yeah, and then I like that. I think one of the characters, if I wasn't mistaken, looked like one of the characters from episode 4, and I couldn't remember what his name was, but he was there. The guy, there was another guy that was there that was in his admiral uniform. They're having discussions. The first one they did talk about is what are they going to do about the clones, and the one guy speaks up. He says, "I served with the clones. They're very honorable soldiers. I don't
Mm-hmm.
like what you're saying we should do to these clones." And then Tarkin, he had a total different perspective. Like, I
Yeah.
found them to not listen to my orders and be individual, and it could be a problem. So it already is a problem. And then Hemlock
Yeah.
speaks up that the reason they're doing what they're doing is because they're trying, on the Emperor's orders, to unlock something that
Mm-hmm.
deals with, you know, cloning. And we know this is a big thing throughout Star Wars in the original Heir to the Empire series. That's how the Emperor came back, is through cloning, things of that nature. It's what they tie into the sequel
With Snoke
trilogy.
and
Yeah, and Snoke and everything like that. So we
yeah.
we know that that's what this project is dealing with. But man, that to see Krennic there, man, and to see give us an update on Operation Stardust, man, dude, I about creamed my jorts. I'm like, let's go now. They're because remember in Attack the Clones, the Geonosians, and one of the reasons why secretly the Emperor had them completely genocide is because they're the ones that came up with the plan for the Death Star. I mean, people don't realize
Mm-hmm.
how technological and incredible the Geonosians were. And so we know that the Death Star is in its early stages. And we saw that with Rogue One with the flashback with Krennic and Jen's father and stuff like that. So I love that little tie-in. The other little tie-in too that's a part of um this thing is he's Saw Gerrera doing Saw Gerrera shit, man, and
Yep.
talking Saw Gerrera shit, man. It was fantastic. He's like, and they're going back and forth. And he recognizes Clone Force 99. They recognize
Mm-hmm.
him. They've got to
Yep.
have some kind of past. They didn't really get into it, but um, it was fantastic. But the reason they went there is not to capture anybody. They just wanted to find out where Crosshair
Hemlocks.
and all these clones
Yeah.
are being kept, right? And the main purpose is to track them down. That gets destroyed because Saul blows up the damn base. But
Mhm.
Tarkin, being the brilliant strategist that he was, had that contingency in place. Like the whole base around them blows up, but he's just sitting there in his bunker, like, I'm
He's
gonna
yeah
get
in his
these
little
fuck.
bubble. Like
Yeah, you see the
let's
ruthlessness of Tarkin. He is just calculated. He
yeah.
is so calculated. in his moves. He thinks ahead of you. He's planned ahead of you, and he just he will make the call. Doesn't matter loss of life. If he wants stuff done, he orders you to go do stuff, and he will make those sacrifices.
Mhm.
I just thought that was so brilliant. All the little stuff that they brought in with this. So the clones, I mean, they go there. The show ends with them trying to escape. The place blows up, and they're stuck on their split. And you're like, okay, they're in a bad position. That's when Tarkin in the next one says, okay, I don't care. Get ships airborne, shoot them down. They're in a bad spot, and they get hit. Tech has to do some things to try to get the power back. Things happen. It was a really, really powerful scene, and I love Tech's last we are soldiers, and he shoots and basically Tech
Yeah,
gets on there's two parts. You have to watch it, but half of it's broken off. He's stuck on it. He knows because they're trying to save him. Wrecker's trying to hold the thing so he can climb up. He knows with the ship's firing and the firing that's coming in that if they stay in here any longer, they're screwed.
they're all gonna
They're
die.
all gonna die. He sacrificed them. Right?
Yeah.
Now I know it's Star Wars, anything's possible, but I'm 99.99% sure Tech is gone. Because I mean, how does he survive?
Yeah.
I mean, they
Yeah. They.
show they show and all the way up to this, they're shooting stormtroopers off and they're falling to their deaths. I mean, come on. There's always a possibility, but when they showed later on the goggles, it was
Mhm.
like, yeah, he's gone. And it was a really good moment. They really captured that moment of Tech just, you know, that soldier side of him. You always forget that he's a
Mhm.
soldier too, making that sacrifice. He knew in that situation he wasn't going to make it. If they stayed there any longer, everyone else was going to die. And he sacrificed himself, and it was really well done. The way they did the slow motion of him firing, Omega's reaction to it was
Mhm.
unbelievable. You know, and it was powerful. I knew someone was going to go there, Kashmir.
Yep.
I don't that moment hit me. I was like,
Yeah. Oh, that was a great moment. It's not the right phrasing, because obviously, it's a cartoon, but he's still, someone's passing away. But they did a great job with it. They everything was awesome. How Wrecker, or someone's like, I'm ordering you not to do, and he's when do we ever follow orders?
when do we ever follow orders? You know,
Yep.
and but it was such a great series of things. I mean, and we're not doing it justice with Saul being there, and their objective is to kill these guys because
Yep.
and they had their little argument. I mean, and he's like, I don't care about your clones. We're going to kill the command structure. And then Hunter's like, that's stupid. They'll just recruit more, and there'll be other people that fill a place. He's like, well, it's a
Yeah.
start. And he's like, no, there's bigger things here. We could do things and and Tech even argues, we could use our resources better. Saul don't want to care. Saul wants to
Hmm.
kill.
He just
Saul.
wants to see blood.
Yeah, and it was really interesting to see his team infiltrate the way they did and how they went about doing that. So it was cool to see Saul in there doing his stuff, and I think they're going to bring him
Mhm.
into season 3, which I hope we get a season 3. But I think that's the plan is to
Yeah. I
get
mean,
Saul Guerrero involved with Clone Force 99, um, and then that dies. Now they get away. They did a wonderful job of showing them the escape. So well done because they crash. They can't turn off the power to the trail the train line. It crashes. They crash, and there's a great scene. I think it was Wrecker's holding him, and you see Echo and Hunter in slow motion
yeah.
firing, and there's just goes in and out. So well done, man. Of the fight, and then
Yeah.
getting away. Who do they go to? Sid.
Said,
Fucking Sid, man. We called it that she was going to
oh,
betray them. Now I know why they went there because they needed a fast place because Omega was they were all really
she was hurt.
they
They're
were
worried about
really
her.
Meg was really in bad shape and they were in bad shape. And so they went there. And then you see Sid, you know, betraying them, you know.
Yep.
She could have not done it. She could have helped them escape, but she didn't because she's a coward, man. She is such a coward. I hope they execute her ass. I mean, I don't care.
Oh,
After what she
I,
did, I mean, I
I
know
was
she
hoping.
regrets it. I know she regrets it,
Yeah.
but that doesn't excuse what she did. she's gonna have to make up in a big way because here they are, the most vulnerable that this team has ever been. They just lost Tech, and you could tell she relates because she tries to give Wrecker a drink, and then she tells her, "Put me in a
You know,
bad spot, and I didn't have a
sorry.
choice." And Echo picks up on it first when they show up there, um, and then the fight breaks out. They're after Omega, of course. Dr. Hemlock's there. They capture Wrecker. There's a showdown between Hunter. He sends Omega away. Omega won't do it. She starts
Nope.
to leave, but then she comes back. They end up capturing her, and then there's a great scene at the end where you see Hunter, Wrecker, and Echo just mowing through people trying to get to them and stuff. And they do end up with Omega. And then it splits off two things. You go back to the base where Hemlock's at. Omega's brought in to the community, and they explains, she
Mhm.
says, what the Emperor wants is impossible, so make it possible, or Omega will suffer.
Yeah.
That's what they wanted her for. And there's another great nugget there where the doctor who has been trying to secretly help Crosshair is Omega older, is what I gather from it's her
Yeah.
sister. And I'm like, oh, of course she is. That's so brilliant. So that all plays out there. We know that that's where she's at, and we're going to
Mhm.
see where that leads. The great moment afterwards is the clone. I mean, Hunter is with Echo and Tech, and he says, "We are not going to stop." Because they don't know where they went. So they can go anywhere. He says, "We are not going to stop. Whatever it takes, we're going to get Omega back." I mean,
Mhm.
and the look on Hunter's face sent chills, dude. I was getting chills watching that look on his face, like,
Oh yeah.
holy shit. I had there were so many great moments in this, man. I'm kind of skimming through Cash. I mean, I know you didn't
Mhm.
like it. I thought it was brilliant. I loved. Here's where I differ from you. I thought the action in Bad Batch has improved dramatically and has gotten more realistic and
Yes.
consequential as the season has gone on. Um, we talked about we knew I thought it was gonna be Crosshair. I was with you. I thought Crosshair was gonna be the one that sacrifices himself, but he wasn't. It was Tech, and a little bit of surprise there, but you know, um, but showing what the Empire's up to, not just with the clone stuff, but the cloning and and Stardust and everything else that they got,
Mhm.
and to bring all these systems and their plan to get all these systems in place. And what they have done now is it was a great conversation before the Empire arrived to come and get Omega. He's asking her like, "We've got choices. You like Pabu, whatever that is,
Yeah. Probably. Yeah.
Pabu,
Whatever.
right? You like that place?" And Omega's like, "Yeah, we're gonna go there. We're giving it all up. No more stuff. And he's having that conversation with her about Tech and his sacrifice, and like he's giving her the talk that you give
Mhm.
soldiers. Gotta let it go, and we got to move on, and we'll go here, and you like it there. We want you to have a normal life. Now, of course, that didn't happen, but that was the plan.
Yeah.
But all the Empire has done, like, you don't go around pissing off a bunch of Navy SEALs because they're going
Mhm.
to come after you. And I feel bad for, you know, I've always asked myself, like, why did it take so long for some of these projects and stuff to get going? And I think what they're going to do is, because this is right after episode three.
Yep.
This is the timeline
Yep.
right after episode three. And I think what's happening is Bad Batch saw some of these other groups are going to get together and really play havoc with all the stuff that the Empire is trying to do. It's going to delay them, for a while. So I like the way they left. I really like the way they left this season because it brings the importance of Crosshair. We know how his story was, and I thought they did a great job this season with Crosshair. I know it worked for me very well. I loved it. I thought the whoever directed this did a fantastic job. I've never, in this kind of animation, I've never seen those moments like you see in a movie where you see those powerful. They really did a good job. I felt like I was watching a real show, with
Mhm. Oh
real
yeah.
people. It was really well directed, and I like the story. Now I know you don't, but we're gonna let you speak now. Talk about what doesn't work for you for this, and throughout the stuff. Go
Mhm.
for it, Cash. The floor is yours, my friend.
This reminds me of going back to our very first episode where we talked about episode one, where it was a good episode, but it's not a season premiere type of episode. It was just kind of like it was almost a filler episode at the beginning of the season. This they should have eliminated 3 or 4
Yeah, we
filler
agree on that.
episodes, moved, and this would have been moved up, and then let's see. I wanted to see what once we get to Omega and trying to rescue her and Crosshair, what's going to happen then? Like I don't want to wait a year and a half or whatever it's going to take for this episode, um, to finally actually happen. This should have been 2 episodes ago, and there should be 2 episodes next week. We should be watching another 2 episodes, seeing them rescue her. However, they're going to do it. What happened to Rex? Why is Rex not involved in these last 3 weeks? What happened to Cody? What is Cody doing? Like Cody never linked it back up with Rex or
Well, he
Echo
just
or any of this
disappeared.
stuff?
Yeah, they never went back to Cody's story, but I thought he would come back in the season finale. That's what we kind of just, but I wasn't upset about it because it's like,
No,
okay, they got
I'm not
better
upset
plans.
about it, but I
You would
mean,
have liked to have seen it, but I get it.
yeah,
Yeah.
like this should have been just kind of the culmination of everything, just of the entire season, kind of finishing up. I really wanted what I know they would never do this, but what I really wanted to do when they were kind of when Sid was about to like walk out and the Hemlock's like, all right, you did what you did, now get out of here. I wanted to see
Hunter,
Hunter just
shoot her ass dead, dude.
shoot
I
her
was
right in
feeling the
the.
same thing. Like,
I'm
just
like, just
shoot her
shoot
ass.
her, shoot her.
Shoot
Um,
her.
yeah. We're gonna end up finding out about my prediction already for season 3. Because if they don't have a season 3, I'm gonna be really pissed off, even more pissed off than I am about this if they don't finish this up. Is Sid's gonna somehow have a contact, get the information of Bad Batch on where she is, like that'll kind of be her redemption.
I
Will
don't think she's
be
ever going to be redeemed. I don't think that she is, man. I think that they are
yeah.
because they've been setting it up. And you're like,
Mm-hmm.
Sid does have her good points, but at the end of the
Yeah.
day, she is in it for herself. Like she will make that suck. She's not loyal. She's not like the
No.
Bad Batch, and it's a good dichotomy to show the difference between the Bad Batch and dealing with someone like Sid. And the guy and I went back and thought about the fillers now. They weren't so much filler, man,
Yeah.
because the stuff with Sid really sets up her character stuff with the guy warning them she will betray you because she obviously had done it to him. And the other thing I went back and thought about was the couple of episodes that were involved with Tech. And then that one episode where they went on that whole thing, the Indiana Jones adventure on that one
Yeah.
planet, that really developed the relationship between Fee and Tech more than I thought it did. So there
Mm-hmm.
was some purpose to those episodes. Yeah, there were one-offs, but there were moments that mattered. And I think that's why the moment with Tech, his death hit me even more, is because they spent a lot of time with Tech this
Yeah.
season.
Well, and once Echo left, I remember saying I'm hoping it was on one of these episodes that I said it that Tech is going to be the one that dies
Yeah,
because
I
they were
thought
just
I thought it was gonna be
they were
Crosshair, some sacrifice, his final redemption. But I think I don't know what they're gonna do. I mean, they're gonna go after them. We know that for sure. But what's going to be the sacrifice for that? Because that's going to be a big deal. Um, I'm excited for season 3. Now, the overall story for Bad Batch, I will say this: after episode 10, I was not feeling this series. But since
mm-hmm.
11 on, man, I am in on this series, dude. It has really been on fire. And I like what they've done. And I can understand your sentiment about, not maybe what you would not prefer, what you would have liked to see some other things. It's going to be subjective. So, for me,
Yeah, yeah,
you can take what I think of it and you can formulate your own viewpoint. But I had a lot of feels for this. I am truly invested with this team more than I thought, especially after episode 10. 9 got me, that speech with Tech and Omega and some of the stuff that happened in 9
yeah.
really got to me. And to see where they got to and the chance, they didn't have to go after Crosshair. They could have said, forget that guy. But Tech said it, he's our brother. We
Mm-hmm.
we don't We don't abandon our family and our brother, no matter what. We don't give up. And that they risked it all to go get him. Like you knew they were going to do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But that there was a sacrifice made. It was Tech. Tech is no longer, as far as we know, he's no longer alive. And
I hate to say it, but he better be. He
yeah,
better be
I
dead.
don't want there to be some kind of Star Wars bullshit where
No,
he's somehow alive, he survived. No, he's dead. You know,
no, yeah,
you totally, totally, you will lose me if they don't.
yeah.
You know,
I mean, he,
I don't want to hear any other nonsense. I know there's a Force stuff, but this is not a show about the Force. You know, you can do
yeah, no,
strange
no.
things in the Force. But yeah, I will
I mean, that
be.
monorail thing was so high
Yeah,
that
he's
I mean,
dead.
it was above the
The
clouds.
damn
So
thing fell on him. There's no way that thing didn't crush his ass
yeah,
when he landed. So I mean, unless I mean, you know, I mean, I I think you minimize his sacrifice and why he did what he did. You know, if you bring him back,
yeah, they
and I
know
don't think
exactly.
anybody wants to see that. You know,
No,
Tech's sacrifice has a profound impact on the team. You know,
mm-hmm.
and what their purpose now is. It was going to be just retire,
Yep,
let Omega grow up, be quiet and stuff. But the Empires, we've been saying, man, they keep poking the bear, man. You know, the Bad Batch is like that old saying in The Godfather. Every time they try to get out, they suck them back in with some stuff, you know? And I think this is the turning point for Hunter. I think Hunter has realized that if you have the ability to fight evil, you have to fight evil. Because whether you want to ignore it or not, it will eventually come up to you. The Empire is not going to stop. It's not going to leave people alone. It's not going to stop doing what it wants to do, which is to dominate the galaxy. So it takes people of means in the ability to fight back. You know, Saw has always been Saw, but he's just,
mm-hmm.
you know, he's Saul. If you want to put he's Saul, man. Um, it's interesting that you didn't like. I mean, was there anything you did? So overall, you didn't like it.
No.
Okay,
This was not a. I mean, like I said, if this was leading up to the finale, great show.
okay.
But for being the finale and like there's not like no surprises. Like, we all knew May was going to eventually somehow get covered. And
You're breaking up a little bit, buddy, Betty.
anybody could
There
have
you go.
figured that out. And that's the cliffhanger. We find out that the which I think you even said 2 weeks ago. I bet you that the other doctor, the one that let Crosshair out, I think she looks like a clone too.
No, I didn't know
Like
what she was. I didn't say that. I thought that well, you know what I thought the doctor was? She was some kind of plant, you know, either through Saw or some other rebel cell that was in there, you know, working, getting, because we heard about the clones giving information out and stuff.
yeah,
I didn't see that one coming, dude. I did not see her being the sister of Omega and stuff. And it makes sense now. As soon as she said, I'm like, oh my God, I missed. You know, they were really cool about, you know, giving you those subtle hints that she was up to something,
yeah.
but for who? You know, like what's your agenda here, lady? Um, so I think that was cool to see. I think in season 3 we're going to see uh well, we're going to see Crosshair become, and I think Cody and Crosshair Rex are going to become more involved with the Bad Batch in season 3, getting Omega back, and then I think season 3 is going to be the final run of Bad Batch where they start just, you know, they're going to go out in a blaze of glory, you know, doing what they do best, which is they're soldiers. You know, they are really good at what they do, and you saw it in this episode. I mean,
Mhm.
you know, they are a one man army wrecking crew. I mean, yeah, it's a show and they're the good guys, but you see the way they operate, you see the way that they scout, they, you know, it's very, very reminiscent of how military operations should work. You scout out, you come up with your plan, you execute it. Murphy's Law kicks in, you adapt as Murphy Law comes in. You can see that they have been well trained, well organized, and that's what makes Clone Force 99, the Bad Batch, one of the most effective fighting groups in the galaxy because they just work great as a unit. They have their specialties. Um, And I know I really like. So let's give two grades here, Kashmir. Let's give
Yeah.
for the final two. Give your overall grade for the final two, and then your overall for the season. So think about that for a second. What you think it is?
Because I did think about this.
I know you did.
For this episode, I'd give these two episodes. I'd give it a 2.5. That's how upset I am about this. Overall, the season 3.
Okay.
It had some really good shows. But there was just too much. I don't know, like, so trying to avoid the filler, but there's just too much trying to build a character arc for me. Like, it was just I wanted to see more 11 through 16 episodes than leading up to that.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm going to go the top totally end of this spectrum. This is a 4.25, 4.5 for me. The season overall, 3.75. There were some stuff. I do respect the filler a little bit more, going back and thinking on the episodes and the arcs and who they were focusing on, because there were some really great episodes this season. I mean, episode 3 was phenomenal.
Mhm.
Anything that had
Yeah.
Crosshair in it was
Yeah.
phenomenal. I mean, good Lord. And then 7 and 8 were ridiculous. I mean, 7 and 8 were just amazing. And these last 5, man, for me really brought it home for me. I can't go super great because some of the filler was kind of like, okay, we're watching. Like episode 10 really pulled me down, and
Yeah.
some of the other ones, yeah, I do get what they were doing for, and it made me appreciate what they were doing for some of the character arcs and the importance of it. Still is filler, so I can't go above a 4, but I'm pretty close to a 4. I'll go 3.75. These last 5 episodes and these other ones that I mentioned, 6, 7, and 8 were phenomenal. 3 was phenomenal. 11 through 16 for me just really were great episodes.
Hmm.
And I really like the direction that this show is going. I'm really invested with the characters. The loss of Tech was powerful. I love the little nuggets we got throughout this entire season. The creation of the stormtroopers, the hint of Stardust,
Yeah.
the
Hmm.
other things is like, oh my god, this is so many good little nuggets in there that if you're a Star Wars nerd like me and Cash are, if you can't tell from my background, I live vicariously for both of us with the Star Wars merch. Um, yeah, it worked really well. So, but let us know what you think. Cash wasn't a
Yes.
big fan of it. I was more a fan of it, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong. Just let us know in the comments what you think of Bad Batch, this entire season, these last 2 episodes. I really liked it. Um, Cash did not, and that's okay. But let us know what you think. Just be constructive and be nice. Because if you're gonna be an ass clown, I'll just delete your message. We don't like that crap here. I don't mind having people going back and forth saying no, I think it's good for this or this is better, and I disagree with you. If you start name calling and that kind of thing, because I know how Star Wars fans can be, I'm just gonna
Yeah.
hit delete. You can go somewhere else and do that. Go to Twitter. This isn't what we're here for. But good discussion of why you think the episode's good or bad is always good. And again, it's media, it's subjective. There's nothing saying I'm right. There's nothing saying I'm wrong. There's nothing saying Cash is right or Cash is wrong. So, um, but yeah, and let us know in the comments. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe, all that good stuff. Any final thoughts on this before we get out of here, Cash?
Nope. Had lots of fun. Can't wait till wait. Can't wait to do this again.
More
Season
shows coming up,
3.
man. Yeah, we'll see what's
Yeah.
going to happen with episode 3. So, on behalf of myself and Big K, thank you for joining us for this entire season of Bad Batch. Check out our other reviews for Star Wars shows and our other stuff we do. We do a podcast for Star Wars Lore with Idiots. Big idiot. You'll listen.
Yes.
If you say the stick one more time, I am going to find a stick and beat you with it, Cash. In game, I should say in
Yeah.
game.
That's why we do
In
this.
game, yeah,
That's
in
why we
game.
don't do this virtually. We don't do
Yeah,
this in
yeah,
the
yeah,
same
yeah,
room.
yeah. I can't. So with that, have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you when we see you. Peace out.